educate young people once you are able to attract them to come to you. If nobody is listening to this Bantaba program, the Bantaba will not educate anybody. Why? The reason why we are able to educate people through the Bantaba is because we are able to get the attention of the people through the fruitful programs that you are injecting into it, which is why people, even those that had not been following it initially, are now following it up. It is the same way in scouting. We have a rich youth program system. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be the right one sitting here. We have our communications and partnership commissioner who should have been the right person here. But I had been the first National Youth Program Commissioner, so I think I can speak a little on that area. In our youth program, when you enter into the movement, you are given a broad base and a general education, just like the primary school system, where everybody is exposed to everything that you need to know. You need to do your tenderfoot before you become a scout. That is the promise that we read at the opening. Before you become a scout, you need to read that promise. That promise reminds you for life about the things that you have taken as an individual to commit yourself to doing, right? Before you get to that, you go through an initiation phase. That initiation phase is the tenderfoot program. In it, you will learn health and hygiene, you will learn safety, you will learn traffic, you will learn first aid, you will learn about discipline in the home, in the school, and in the wider communities. How do you respond to adults, how you interact with people that are a little ahead of your age by status, by age, or whatever. Those you need to learn at that level. After that, that is the badge that they are showing there. It is the tenderfoot badge. After that, you need to go through a second class. The second class badge is a general education, but at a senior level. The tenderfoot we can associate with the primary school where you do everything. At the upper basic level, now they limit the number of subjects that you do. Then after that, after you've done that, you do your first class, we go into the proficiency badges. This is where individual scouts decide on their own what career path they want to follow. Why do we give career path to these scouts? It is because we don't want our young people to grow up with only book knowledge. We want to equip them with skills. Because according to educationists, they define education as the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that one acquires in order to properly function within a given society or community. If you go to the farming community, even if you are PhD in biology, your PhD will not benefit you in the farm there, because there what you need is manual labor, knowing how to sow, the right time to sow, put in the right manure, and when to put the seed, taking care of that seedling until it grows. So if you are in that community and that's where your survival is, that skill is what is relevant in that community, right? If you are in the middle of a river, I used to give a story to my trainees that the person that went and learned all the books in the world, sociology, biology, epistemology, all the logies he learned, found people at the bank of the river. When he came home, he'll ask, what have you learned? Do you know sociology? He said, no. He said, oh, my friend, there is illiterate people. Then he was on that going round until eventually the canoe came and they were supposed to cross over to the mainland. Unfortunately, the canoe had a hole, so they used soap to glue it. And we know soap wears out once it is in water. They were, until they went deep into the river and the canoe, the soap could no longer hold the hole and water started coming. What skills or education do you need to survive at that instance?
Swimming.
You need to be able to swim. These women and men that he was calling illiterate that do not have any form of education all jumped into the river and they were swimming to the bank. All he could do was to carry the hand and start crying. Then one young boy looked at him and said, hey, Mr. Professor, he said, do you know swimology? It is time for swimology. So that is why when we look at education, we take it wholesome. In our youth program, this is what we include there, that young people decide a career path so that without their formal education, they have a skill. If they finish senior secondary school, for instance, they cannot get the white-collar job. they will look back on their scouting days and said, look, I had a proficiency badge in carpentry. I had one on agriculture. I had one on photography. Which of these skills now can I utilize to have a gainful living? This is the core of our youth program. And that proficiency, we have the National Badge Commission. I'm sure we'll be able to throw more light on them. Okay. Right.
Tijan, Kusman Kafonyami. Prumbading Mandingkolu. Anakoy Kamwelal. Maimune apojan surako to mul kamira ko scouting kake soldar yakara ngolom. Ba scouting tambita wala. Tonya bodin Powell akata soldar wotele. Bari ala soldaria kono wokono la anata si aye mira ko fenne be caring na society kono. Bayro dindiwolu kulo dasatale. Dindiwolu kad jiki fangola adda satale dinniwol fe wo fen jikitela alfalella animan kul wosto so anata kumas kala kafnyoma dingolu anata fango ba dingolu ke samba modin worowla Brown Sea Island ke itrenje amanjari nganawo bekan but scouting na dalilo min kanti follow ka hadama dingo kulu nya kendwala kan hadama du na kuluta femmede imam fenda kan kilare Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ko ni scoutun jibe ustaso binala binawota ni scoutun jibe scouting na promiso ani luwal min be scouting kono follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ya kilare amul ay karandi wala follow la kan Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kal kilare amul kandi daji ko wala follow la janna kilare akikan. So alhamdulillah rabbil alamin scouting fana nkadin nul karandi daji ko la folola janning ye funte banta ka hadama no ko nga funu nyami nay daji ko sto daji ko kendo sto abe selala ala nyaanale abe bala fasto la scouting nintana min soto ko nga fu jam ninti jan man wo soto woton te manya nintama wo soto pete benta di la tiyan la wayata ntangam fanyo tijan fana nati yaje modo masto aba fala no nyin nan telephone fa siyata nyinti afana ya di wol ibaje nyo kano bina wala kono wo bebe kulu wala kono anin na society fana bina develop la wala nyama na tundol be yiru wala nyama scouting ko Usmani ya fa jam nka dinol karandi ku jamal la follow pour yeji ki fangola iye fango no ite dikila mola dinne njama bi jam ni e jube tay ila uniforme li fon la se fon kan ngana diko le kan ngana diko la na alfa kan nim baba ma so no minna ni nga baba nyen ka amasoto mbe kam fala baba bulle anu manyan nga kam fa baba bul because amasoto ba nim baba e lon dinna kata karam moto ay dal sulul dinna nga dal si keke poto so nga dal so bulaje min dal snano ita karam moto na metan ta fanan lumu dol nim baba man ko do ston do letala woto mbading lamoy lal min kal lamoy e kam moy ntol skato la do ko kan na lodu la kan wala nyinta ka hadama dum kan do wala be tembo minto nga skill central so tole kilo be ba kote do e jara soma an dol fanan binaay dalal ngam nursery school also and dindi wodi ninka jiwoto ibe do ko la dulalto nemi siko kono jibe o Luganda atambita nin skato bulo ko dal nem aruna hayna sira fana bina music wala area ne police ban kono jibe Martin Luther ya wol be muskat skan ban non let ya ibe tambita nin skat ban lela ko nga fonu nyami halama dimo scout on to ngani no butako ibika hanyi ninka nka funyoye min kente bantana mine ken ka funyoye ibika hanyi ninka mfa maye mine kente bantana mine ken fa maye ibika hanyi ninka ntela banko e mine kente barnga mine ken na banko e ibika hanyi ninka naka foye min kente bantana mine ken naka foye was hadama do na kuluta o nyama ibajela na siyoli be dialale ntajela tijande kumbola ntanga tara dahari hani